Tasmanian Premier League football show. My co-host tonight is Ken Morton. Welcome, Ken.
Good evening, Walter.
Ken, of course, is the coach of South Hobart, and our special guest tonight is Alexis Bull from University. Good evening, Alexis.
Hi, Walter. Nice to be here.
Alexis, the first game we're going to cover is the University against Glenorchy Knights match. Now, you didn't play in this one. Are you injured?
Yeah, problems with my knee probably since the second game in of the year, and it's been a bit of a battle from there. And then I tore my calf against Kingborough, and then redid it again against Kenny's Mob a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, pretty much the whole left side of my body at the moment's not working too well. So another couple of weeks at least. Okay,
what did you think of the team's performance?
I think, like we have been, we started quite well. And maybe the first 10 or 15 minutes knocked it around nicely, and then probably the Knights dominated the next 60 minutes of play, and we looked a bit lacklustre, made a few changes, and then in the last 20 minutes came back and rattled the cage a little bit, and with a bit of luck perhaps could have scrambled another goal for an equaliser.
The goalkeeper was a little bit unfortunate for the first goal, do you think? The ball seemed to bounce just in front of him?
It did, and I was talking to Martin, who kept in the reserves game, and he said down at that end in particular, quite a hard end with the bouncing ball. So I guess it's just one of those things that happens as the season wears on and the goal mouths get roughed up a bit. So yeah, he was a bit of a...
But as we saw just a second ago there, he made some pretty good saves.
Oh look, he's a great keeper. So he's had a really good year. And without him, I think we'd have conceded a lot more than the ones we have.
Ken, what do you think of the Knights and University as opponents to South Hobart?
I think they've both been strong opponents. Uni surprised me a little bit that they have improved quite dramatically from the pre-season. They're a very strong and determined side. They have an aerial presence, and they've looked good. With Glenorchy Knights, they've just been a little bit inconsistent. They put some good patches of play together, and then obviously they've made a few basic errors in some of the games which have really cost them dearly.
Alexis, one of your better players, Hans Blas, the Italian chap, this was probably his last game, was it?
Yeah, he was only in the state for a short time as an exchange student, and we were lucky enough to have him up to have a kick with us for a few months. He's been a great player, and whilst we miss him for the rest of the season, he's been good at getting in the ear of some of the younger players, and he's been playing soccer probably longer than any of us, even though he's young. So he's a good player to have around.
We just saw Hugersloot score his goal there, the Knight's second goal, and Aaron Hindmarsh missed a pretty good chance there.
Yeah, look, he's a great dribbler of the ball. 3 or 4 opportunities had like that this year where he's just carved through the defence, and he's knocked a few away, but unfortunately missed that one. Would have been a beauty.
And Julian Proud unlucky there to hit the crossbar with a header.
Yeah, he hit the bar a couple of times, and probably a bit disappointed about the first one, I think. Yeah.
What do you think of Julian Proud, Ken?
He's been a very consistent, honest player over the years. I've come up against Julian with a few different teams, and he's always been a presence and somebody you've got to keep your eye on. So I think he's a good acquisition for Uni. He's been there a long time, and he's worked really hard for the club.
Well, yeah, it was fairly close in the end. I was really happy the way we came back in the second half. First half we played well in spells, but Glenorchy they were fine in the first half, but I thought we could have got a draw there.
A little bit hazardous towards the end, Walter. I suppose first half, very happy with the first half. We knocked the ball around well and played well, but once again we just can't get a full consistent 90 minutes together, and look, we're a little bit lucky there. They hit the crossbar a couple of times, fought it out well, and quite happy with the boys actually. Oh, of course we can go on. We've got the belief we can go on. I mean, we just can't afford to lose another game this year. Like, we win every game we've got from here on, and a couple of other results go our way. There's no reason why we can't go on and win the premiership.
Ken, 2 of the University players are ex-South Hobart players. How did you let them go?
Well, Buxton joined us in the pre-season, but only had a little pre-season spell with us, and then he went across to Uni. Johnny Foley, who was consistently in the side, he wanted to have more opportunities and joined up with University, where he's getting a regular game and doing quite well for them.
We'll now have a look at a Northern Premier League game, the one between Launceston City and Northern Rangers. This is the first night game at the NTCA ground. You're familiar with both these sides, Ken. City seem to be grabbing the odd point or two here and there.
Yeah, I think they've started to pick up some valuable points. They're obviously a team in transition. They've lost a lot of experienced players from the last couple of years. Roger Mees, Drew McNeil, you know, quite a few players that have moved on or retired from the game. So the young lads have been given a chance by their new coach Peter Saville, and it's good to see them picking up points. They're a super club and will always be a leading team in the north.
Alexis, one of Rangers' top players is striker TT Kakadamane. Now, you're a former teammate of his because he played with University. How do you rate him?
Yeah, look, he's got wonderful skills, but I think probably above all of that, I think he's one of the nicest guys kicking around in any of the leagues. So it was great the time he had with us. You know, he was a good friend, and glad to see him doing well with the Rangers.
He was a bit unlucky there, trying to squeeze in a shot from a very difficult angle.
It's good to see him back up front, Walter. They used him at Northern Rangers in the Hudson Cup, coming out of midfield, and in fact he did a bit of a marking job for them where I thought he was wasted. He's got good pace, a good eye for the running behind the defenders, and a good finish on him. So it's good to see him back up front. I think he's more dangerous.
He scores a lot with his head too. For a guy you know who's relatively short, he knocked, you know, good judge at the aerial ball.
Yeah, he makes those near post runs and gets in across the defender as well.
The lighting seems pretty good at this venue, Ken, and the surface looks very good too.
Yeah, it wasn't so good when I played there with Launceston City. The ground was a bit bumpy and hard, and this is the first time I've seen a night match there. But yeah, it looks okay, and it's good to see night matches coming into vogue again.
So they've got two night venues in Launceston now, don't they? Prospect?
Yeah, Prospect's a good ground now, Walter. They've got the new club rooms there, and the floodlighting's very, very good, and the pitch surface is been relaid again in the summer and looks really good.
Alexis, you've played your fair share of games in the north with University and cup matches. What do you think of the northern scene?
Look, we've played against Launceston City a lot over the last few years, but probably not against the new look Lonnie City side. So I'm unfamiliar with a lot of the players that I see out there, and we haven't had too many games against the Rangers over the years. So it's certainly a physical league, as you see there with the tackle.
You've had your fair share of injuries. That was a horrific tackle, wasn't it?
It was terrible.
The whole game today was, well, the whole season was riding on today's result, and unfortunately we just couldn't get over the line. We had a very tenacious team we're up against, and for some reason they really gave it to us today, and we just couldn't get that goal we needed. So even with a player down,
that's a good result for our club. We've been a very successful club in previous years, and we've had a lot of retirements last year, and we're bringing a lot of young kids in. Our forward line consisted of two 16-year-olds and a 17-year-old. Our back line consisted of a guy who's 37, but the other two fellas are in their early 20s. We're rebuilding our side, and we've got a lot of promise for the future. That was a good game for us.